Hi, everyone. This is Norman Kochnek. Unfortunately, we've had a short circuit to the system, and I've had to recommence the broadcast. Hopefully, everyone can see it and actually can join on. I'm going to try to invite my learned guests again. Hopefully, people can see this. It may take a second to restart. The other one, it's one of these rare moments we have a systems failure, and I'm very sorry for that. And I'm just getting people back on deck. We'll eventually get some. All right, we aren't getting any guests back here, but we'll try and get people back. Hopefully, we'll be able to. Yes, we're live. I'm sorry, we may have lost everybody. They'll get a new prompt, won't they? People will get a new prompt. It's one of those things where I changed phones to Namaste. I changed phones and everything went. Can you can hear me?
Yep. Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So, Tabascus will be here in a second. He's just worked it out. It's such a diabolical thing when you sort these platforms out. It can be the wonders of nature. I guess at this time of the morning, we'll blame me, of course. I'm just waiting on people to come back. I just don't know whether I can ignite people to come back on. I'm not sure how I would do that. I could almost go into the other chat and perhaps see what they're doing, because they'll come back. I want your thoughts. You're obviously glowing about CSK and particular Dhoni, and understandably so. And Amaresh has joined us. He says he needs to discuss Kumble, which we will, certainly. People are starting to join back. So just your thoughts on, I want to hear more about the superlatives about, obviously, Dhoni.
Yeah, so are you adding what we just taped to this, or no? This is a fresh new video, right?
This is a fresh new video. Okay. But what I will do post, I'll probably join them together. But that's okay.
Okay. All right. I'll just maybe reiterate what I just did. I mean, wow. Firstly, what a final. What a match. Now that's what I call an IPL match, worthy of a final. Can you imagine if the final was something like this? This game was over in the first 6 overs. It should have been, to be honest, but it's a miracle that it went almost until the very last over. But I just think, CSK CEO has confirmed that it's not his last year playing, so which is actually great news for, obviously CSK, but just for IPL in general, for cricket, for India, because I think what it means for not just the fans but other players learning from him. It's just remarkable, and I think the shot that sums up IPL for me is when they were playing against Punjab, and just after the toss, Deepak Hooda went up to Dhoni with his bat, and he was asking for batting tips. So I think that pretty much sums up what Dhoni means to Indian cricket, to be honest, to international cricket, and hopefully that'll never change. I do think that he has one more year left in him, but boy, if they go all the way here, what a great ending to a great journey. And next year they'll come back even stronger, and I just think it'll be a beautiful moment. So I've always backed them, and I always told you they will make it to the top 4, and then it's anybody's game. So happy. And also, 1 billion people are dying to watch Dhoni bat, and I think it was priceless to see him getting back his form and hitting those 4s and just going for it. And I think his contribution actually was very valuable in the end. That actually was the difference between the 2 scores. And I just think it's wonderful. And he was so happy, yet calm and collected. When you watch the post-game, the award presentations, just the few minutes that he speaks, that's a master class in how to manage and execute a T20 game. He gives a little bit away, and you see his psychology, and even the interviewer is like, that was a masterclass, guys, to just how to arrange the squad, the field, and how his mind works and how he gets the best out of every player, and the dynamic of the team, right? That's priceless stuff. Very few captains, I think, in history have that ability. So it's just a joy, I think, to watch.
Well, Raj in particular has been given faith, and he's done well again today. I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. His
Yes,
performance was his 60 was magnificent. He didn't he look good to Bashes?
Absolutely, he's a decent player.
yes,
We all know in domestic cricket, and he has done well in domestic cricket. And also, if you look back at last season, he was down with COVID, and then he came back and played the brilliant innings towards the end of the season, scoring 350s. So it proved today because someone like MS Dhoni has always backed him, and you could see him that opening the batting, he was persistent with opening the batting with Fab Duplessis, and there you are. You saw a century opening partnership, and that set the platform for Chennai Super Kings to post such a huge total. I think Chennai Super Kings batted KKR out of the match.
yes.
As soon as they scored the 220 runs, I think they batted KKR out. I mean, because 9 out of 10 times you're going to mess it out, and that is what happened with KKR, because all the batsmen right from the start, they were trying to accelerate the run rate, trying to cope up with the asking rate, which they failed miserably, because 31 for 5, no one would have thought that KKR would end up losing by 18 runs at the
Right.
end, because thanks to those two knocks, terrific knocks from Andre Russell and Pat Cummins, and also to some extent Dinesh Karthik, I think KKR actually the match went down to the wire, all because of these three gentlemen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Imagine if the upper order batters had batted somewhat better. It could well have been. I mean, what were they? They were 5 or 6 down, weren't they, at one stage?
They
For
were 60 for
Five.
5 after 6 overs, or it's the
They were
deja vu
31
of
for
their
5.
game against Punjab. Same thing. Chahar gets 4 wickets. They're like 60 for 5, 6 overs, game over. The game really should have been done. But then I must say that I think CSK's bowling from the eighth over onwards for the next several, they really derailed. I mean, there were some. I mean, there was one over where they gave away 30 runs. There was another where they gave away 24 runs. They cannot do that moving forward because everything else is so tight and so brilliant. Look, they're going to win it anyway after that sixth over. I said game over. We can go home now. But I just didn't think that it needed to go down that tight to the wire at the end, and they really derailed with their bowling. With Shardul Thakur, I think, and I mean Sam Curran too a bit, but he redeemed himself. So I think something needs to be couple of games. I feel.
very good points. Very good points. You know, when you're 5 for 31 at a stage after 5 overs, and you're coming into bat, they probably thought, and I'm not trying to make it out to be no big deal, but the way that Kartik and obviously Under Russell and they like him, and they thought, right, guys, we've got nothing to lose here. We've lost now. Let's go for it. I think their mental state was a lot freer. Will
Yeah.
certainly help them to bat that freely. I'm by no means telling that, I'm not trying to create a reason why they do this, but I hope they have that attitude every time they come into bat.
Yeah.
They should have the same attitude as 5 for 31 as it would be for 2 for 120. They need to have that attitude. I really like the mental state of the players going in. They came in saying, I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Would you agree to basis?
Absolutely, because at that point of time they had nothing to lose, literally 31 for 5, you are down and out. All you have to do is to just take the attack to the opponent, and that is what Andrew Russell did, because he was not in best of forms to start with in this season. And then I mean, he was also very charged, as you can see, because the reaction says it all. After the end, after he got out, he was seen, TV cameras focused on him, he was
Yeah.
sitting at the stairs a long time with his helmets on. So he was so depressed, because the manner in which he got out, it was it was an irony, so as to say, because
Yes.
it was a soft dismissal. It was a total misjudgment on his part, because he thought that the ball might have gone for a wide. So, but I think he went a little bit too far ahead, and all credit to Sam Curran, means obviously. But then, as you rightly said, I think KKR batsmen had nothing to lose at that point of time. Means all they have to do is to go slam bang, because anyway they are losing. What's the point
Yeah.
losing with pride?
But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to capture that
Yeah.
mental state, because the way they were batting, they weren't saying we can win this. They're going to say
Yeah.
we've got nothing to lose. Let's have fun, and it really showed. And Andre Russell, someone should be whatever they said to Andre Russell going out to bat, they should tell him every single time, because it got him in the right mood. It really did. It was sensational. It was a great effort. Is there any suggestion to throw Andre Russell sometimes in really, really early to do that? What do you think, Tobias? In some games where, imagine if they went first drop with him or opened with him, and he went crazy from the start, because the ball generally comes onto the bat early on and it's a lot newer, a lot easier to hit. What's your thoughts, Tobias?
But the thinking behind, I would imagine the thinking behind KKR management is that what happens if Russell goes out early?
Yeah, yeah.
What happened? Because just as the case was, he's 5 wickets down, but still KKR made a match of it, because Russell could hit those big hits towards the end and take the match down the wire. Also Cummins, means you have these big hitters towards the end. That was the reason KKR made a match out of it. But what happens if you send in Russell early and he gets out? Then you are almost gone.
Pat Cummins learned from Andre Russell, you have to argue.
Mhm.
Pat Cummins took the attitude from him and put it into himself. And that intrigues me, because Pat Cummins should learn from this for any format of cricket he plays in the future, because he has scored runs on occasions, yes. He's had some good test performances as well. But maybe he needs to see himself more as a pinch hitter, because I think he really shocked himself today. I think he shocked himself. He really, because he's a very...
He might be pinching himself. He might be pinching himself what he has done.
Yeah.
It may be
But then,
coming of age with him. He may be coming of age. Maybe he realizes, hey, I can do this more often. Because, my God, his price in the IPL next year will be ridiculous.
Well, I tweeted, Russell is waiting at the top of the stairs for Sam Curran. I mean, that moment when he was just with his helmet on, with his bat, he just plonked himself and he was speechless. I think he was realizing, what have I done? I had this. We could have gone all the way. What a beauty by Sam Curran. Unbelievable, right? I mean, is there anything this young kid can't do? Brilliant. And it was beautiful moments. I think the emotions, anytime CSK plays, there's a lot of emotion because it's very emotive. And I think both hearts were fluttering pretty much throughout the match, because it was like, oh my God, how is this going to end? Someone is going to be very disappointed. And CSK has consistently put up very high totals in slow pitches and fast pitches. So I think they've done incredibly well. And sometimes I mean, 180 doesn't seem like all that, but at the end of the day, in those matches that they won, it's like one hell of a total. So the batting is very good. I just think they need to watch their bowling and not have it get derailed the way that it did today. It almost, the whole thing could have been for waste. And moving forward, they cannot do that.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's going to be a smoky in this competition with CSK. But they're going to have to do this against teams in full flight. They're going to have to do it against an RCB. That's where they're going to really test themselves. But yeah, I mean, so RCB haven't played CSK yet, have
They
they?
haven't.
No,
But
that's going to be.
RCB, to me, they're not such a strong side. I mean, they've done well to win. Very tight games, could have gone either way, I think, especially their first game. But yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, we'll see how things progress. But I really think that this is a team that actually has much more experience, and obviously the memory of winning. There's only three teams that have won the championships, right? KKR, MI, and CSK. So between them,
Sunrisers
they've won
Hyderabad has
pretty much
also won.
these 13.
Sunrisers Hyderabad has also won.
Yeah.
Okay, so between the four of them, they've won.
Rajasthan Royals has also won. Only three
So
teams
hang
have.
on. So there are 4 teams that have won. Mumbai Indians.
Five teams.
Okay. Mumbai Indians, CSK, SRH,
Rajasthan Royals
KKR.
and Rajasthan Royals. Rajasthan Royals were the champions of the first edition of IPL.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but
Who did they have?
multiple only two.
Who did? Who was the
Three.
captain of Rajasthan
KKR
Royals?
won twice. KKR won twice. Chennai Super Kings won
I think
twice.
3 times, and Mumbai won 5. Yeah,
Five.
And that is, I'm afraid that's significant.
very
For a team,
significant.
for a team to win without having won a championship, it's very difficult. There's something that is difficult. And Dan Christian is playing for RCB at the moment. Who has Dan Christian played for before? He has played at winning IPL teams, hasn't he?
He has been part of a winning side in the
What side
IPL.
was that again?
I think he was part of a winning side in the IPL.
Oh, he definitely has, but I was wondering who.
The KKR maybe, or
No, I
Can't
don't think
remember.
so.
But anyway,
also-
what I'm getting at is RCB have specifically got him for that purpose. He is there for that purpose. And I keep saying this. RCB have never won before. Yes, that's going to be difficult. There's a mental block. But having someone like Dan Christian in their works, and for that matter, what else have they got? They've got Simon Kadich, and he's won before, hasn't he? He's won before with KKR, I remember. I'm pretty sure Simon Kadich was with KKR when they won.
Yeah,
And so what RCB have done cleverly is they've got a few people in their camp who have won the IPL before. And I think that's significant. Because if you're going to have Kohli as the leader of the RCB team who hasn't won one, he needs that person there to give him that little bit of an edge when it counts. Do you agree?
yeah, they got off to a good start. To be honest, they shouldn't really be in the top 4. They're better teams up there. To be honest, KKR is actually better than RCB. But
Do you really think so? Do you really think
yes,
so?
but they got off to a great start. They won. I mean, winning first 3 games in a row obviously gives you a head start when you're talking about points and all of that. So they found themselves in a very pretty spot. But moving forward, let's see. I'm not so sure they have what it takes to go all the way against. I know MI didn't do all that well when they played, but MI will go back to the drawing board and come back and be the champions that they are. I have no doubt about that.
you never know, because Sunrisers winning today, they might just get the momentum today, because
Yeah,
Sunrisers
but
after
they're
2
3
losses,
behind. We got 3
but
losses
then
behind with the
you
catch-up game is
you
too
cannot
sharp.
predict what might happen to any team, because this is so this IPL, the entire concept of IPL, this tournament is so very unpredictable. You never know, because it's all about momentum. Because
Yeah.
RCB, they might be they might had a great start to the season.
And it
Winning
might plateau. They might lose the next 2.
they might lose next
Yeah.
3 matches, and they
Yes,
might find
yes,
the
that's yeah.
middle of the table.
Yeah.
So you
I
never
will
know.
say that when you look at the points table, there is a division. There is a clear
Absolutely.
division. There are 4 there, and there are 4 here. I will
So
definitely
until
Punjab
normal,
and RR are not going to make it. You can just see the
Well,
way
yeah,
that
Punjab Kings and Rajasthan Royals are unlikely to make it. Okay.
they won't.
but what happens if Rajasthan wins tomorrow against RCB? You never know.
They're
Never know.
still behind the top 3.
I
I
know
just
technically on paper it's definitely RCB, definitely a strong favorites. But you never know in a game of cricket what might happen.
Yeah, but also you're saying what if RR wins? But the thing is that DC and MI and CSK are also going to win so it's like, yes, these guys have momentum, but the other guys do too. That's why the catch up winning 3, losing 3 in a row is very tricky.
I think until
Um,
and unless we go to that midway stage, it's very
yeah,
difficult as to who the 4 will make it to the playoffs.
yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, for me, I disagree. I think that even when you listen to, like, even Harsha Bogle was saying, there's a clear division. There's 8 teams. There is a line down the middle. You have 4 and 4, and those
But
4 can
pretty,
rearrange themselves.
I absolutely agree with you. I do. I think the same, because I just feel a momentum going on already, and I think SRH are getting themselves off the carpet. They may come back to be around the 5th, 6th spot, but the way CSK are playing, and for that matter, Mumbai Indians and the likes of
DC.
Delhi Capitals and the like. They seem to be right. But look, the Masters has also got a point. We could be completely shocked today. I think everybody I spoke to said Punjab Kings would beat SRH, and that
Yeah.
was, didn't they? The Masters. They were all saying
And
that.
also the changes they made today, because those are all very good changes to get rid of Meredith and Richardson, and to bring in Fabian Allen and Moses Sondricks. I think they made all the right moves, but then as they said, because Sunrisers were the better team today.
You've got to give people like Mozon Reeks and Fabian at least one more game, because they certainly, they're going to be. Mozon Reeks, I've got a lot of time for him. He's a tremendous player. He really is. He's a great captain as well. And I think they need him in the side. But you've got a couple of fans coming on now. They're coming on late. Barun Jars, you are beautiful. A way of describing also amazing.
Thank you, Barunji. Thank you. I try to bring my unique perspective and my unique research and analysis.
Now, this is an interesting comment. Is they should bring Moody in if Trevor Bayliss is not working. I actually think it's the other way around. I think Tom Moody needs to take a step back and allow Trevor Bayliss to run the ship. I'm pretty sure that Bayliss is the answer, but Moody's probably saying too much. Tobias, what are your thoughts?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Why don't you think so? You grumpy bum.
At times gets very crazy. You see someone not doing well, you need to change this. You need to change it. That doesn't work like in a franchisee tournament. Because
I'm not saying about changing it. I'm not saying anything needs to be changed, but they need to
said
understand their roles.
Trevor Bayliss has been appointed the coach of the season. So all of a sudden, if the season doesn't go well, you cannot chop and change. That's what
I didn't
happens
say drop
to any professional team. It happens to any professional team.
No. I didn't say drop Trevor Bayliss. Did I say that? No. I didn't say that. That guy did. Yeah.
But I'm also indicating to that guy who has raised the point is to get Tom Moody the coach, and maybe swap the coaching roles. I don't think that works. It might be easy to say whatever you feel like from outside, but all that matters is who are running the show, who are running the team. That doesn't work. Means you all of a sudden you cannot just chop and change, make someone the captain, make someone the coach, make someone change of role. That doesn't work. Obviously, there are rare cases.
I think Tobias has got up on the wrong side of the bed this morning.
I love it. I love it so much. We all do that. That happened
I
to me once too. I was so grumpy.
I have a supporter in Barunja. Perhaps you might pop that.
Yeah. So okay. All right. We need to talk about Deepak Chahar. He should have been player of the match.
Yes.
Faf du Plessis. You know what? I'm sorry.
Love him, but yeah.
Faf du Plessis, I find a bit boring. That's just.
He's charming. He's cute.
He's very fit, that's for sure. But okay, why is Faf du Plessis not playing for South Africa? If he's scoring 95,
did he retire too early?
Retire? He shouldn't be. He's only stopped playing because there isn't money in it for South Africa. Period. He could be playing for his country still. What I'm trying to say is he should be playing for his country. He's still one of the best players in the country. Yeah. So is Avi de Villiers.
Yeah, and cricket South Africa is in deep trouble right now. I think this is when they need their stars. Just to your earlier point, the reason why some of the teams that have won and done so well in finals, they are very consistent. They back their players. They don't drop them after 2 or 3 poor performances, and they have the same. They're very consistent with the team as well. And I think when that happens, the players have a sense of they're confident, they are secure about their place in the squad. I mean, if you had dropped Gatewad, we wouldn't have had that beautiful knock. And I'm
That's
sure there
true.
were so many armchair pundits that said, "Drop him," he's really not performing well. But Dhoni kept saying, "No, I back my players. No changes, no changes." And you have to let the players know that they're valued, and that their spot isn't going away to be given away that easily. That makes them want to perform for their captain and their coach, which they do, right? That's very important.
I think that's very, Debashes, it's very true and pretty saying, because the teams that keep a solid, consistent team are the ones that appear to be doing better, or have at least adjusted to the team they should have had in the first place. Perhaps it's more that. SRH have had Williamson in there from day one, but whether he was fit, I don't know. But it looks as though he wasn't fit. That's what Warner was saying. But I think that's now they've got the right team.
Yeah.
Punjab Kings, I haven't got a clue what's going on
And
there.
R has had the most chopping and changing. Oh my God. It's such a
due to injury
chaotic
as well.
team.
Due to injury as well. In the fence. But yeah, Jabasas, I think that you'll agree with me that buying players at top prices or overinflated prices puts too high expectation. It's proven yet again. Even though Chris Morris played well in one match, he's not proven his worth, I don't think. It's going to be up to the next game is in fact between Rajasthan Royals and RCB.
Yes.
If Rajasthan Royals have got any hope whatsoever, they have to beat RCB, don't they?
Absolutely, they have nothing. All they have to do is to win, get back to winning ways. If they have to have a decent run, they need to start winning. But then it will be very very tough. Means to
Yes.
the form RCB are in at the moment, they have the momentum. They have the players in form with the likes of AB de Villiers, and their two top guns Maxwell and AB firing, and also Virat, and they have a very balanced side. So I think it will be very tough ask for Rajasthan to uh, unsettle the RCB unit.
Yes, it's really intriguing because we lost that broadcast and we've started again. We've come back with more people. It's almost like, oh my God, we
Yes.
missed it. Now they want to come back. Maybe I should cut the program off and that. People have gone looking and anyway. Look, Milan I love this guy. He was all concerned about. I'm glad you're back because we lost you and you were panicking. And
Yes.
Okay, we're hoping that Dhoni will be captain in 2022. But if he's not captain, who could CSK use as a captain in the future, Device? Who are they grooming? Who do you think they're trying to look at to be a future CSK captain?
I think last season who was the vice captain? I think Ravindra Jadeja was the vice captain in UAE. So maybe Ravindra Jadeja will be the right man because
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not too sure about Suresh Raina,
Yeah.
because the fact that he is aging, that doesn't sets the right example.
Yeah.
But then I think Ravindra Jadeja should be the right man to get that role if Dhoni relinquishes that post.
Is Raj a captain type? I'm not sure. He doesn't.
No. No. I mean, Reina is to be honest, this conversation I've heard it recently. To be honest, a lot the Reina is really the name that comes forward just because he's I mean CSK, this is a very loyalist team. They love him. I mean, he's like such a great counterpart to Dhoni, and he's had again the 13, 14 years experience. He would be the most likely a person to succeed Dhoni. Um, Jadeja is, I think, all class and young enough still to lead, and he is leadership material. But Raina might have that, he's learned a lot from Dhoni, so he might be, he might have that brain that you need to. Uh, Also, I just don't. I know that Jadeja is an all rounder, but I always think that batsmen and wicket keepers make the best captains. So. we'll see. Maybe I think Jadeja might end up being the vice captain, but you never know. They might groom someone else. They have a couple of years to do that.
Okay, everyone smile. Come on, so I want Debashis. Sit forward. Debashis, sit forward. Big smile. Teeth. I want to see teeth. Debashis, I want to see teeth. Okay.
You have to learn how to pose. You have to hold it.
This is how Debashis looks. That's not a smile. My gosh. All right. There's been talk about Mohammad Siraj. I love him. I absolutely love him. Ever since Australia, I love him. He's got guts. He had the strength of character to stand up to a lot of things that he thought were bad.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with the guy. He's a future long-term success, especially in the test format for India. Don't you think, Debashis?
But he is comparing. He's saying that he is even better than Bumrah.
Did he say that?
Yes.
You can't say that.
Oh, well, he can be cocky. He can be cocky. I mean, the days of Jeff Thompson and Lilly, they were both thinking they were the best in the world. I don't think it's necessarily bad for a bowler to say that, to be honest. It's a bit of byplay. Yeah, anyway. Don't you think much of Mohammad Siraj? Why are you saying that?
No. He is a decent bowler, no two ways about it. Means ever since he played in that series against Australia. But then Bumrah has been your match winner.
Yeah, Bumrah is Bumrah. He's in a different league.
Is it a different league?
At the moment, I'm saying to you right now, in the recent game Mumbai Indians played Delhi Capitals, there was a bit of vulnerability there. There was a little bit of vulnerability.
I agree. He didn't quite fire, right?
And Mumbai Indians, middle order, they had a bit of a wobble there. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit concerned. Mumbai Indians, the defeat by Delhi Capitals was significant. It's early days, yes, but a lot of records were broken on that day, weren't they, Debashis?
Pardon? Can you repeat?
Should I speak German or something here?
I was looking after the messages.
Okay.
I need to leave now because I'm getting bored because it's already 1:12 a.m. now.
You can see the tape back again. I said to Pretty, we're so lucky to have Debashis because he listens very carefully. He takes everything in. He listens to every word we say. He would never ever read his messages. I was saying all of that, and then look what you did. The complete opposite. You know when you're watching a game of cricket and you say, "Gee, that batsman's batting well," and then he gets out.
And then he gets out.
Do you get the hint? Hint.
You're so cute.
I was saying all these superlatives, then you got out. You dropped the ball. Okay, all right. So I'm trying to wake you up, Tobias. I know you're tired. You're tired. I'm tired.
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry. I'm still taking.
Yeah.
Certainly, the cranky puss today. He's a cranky puss. Very cranky. All right. Is there anyone you do like today? You've been cranky with Mohammad Siraj. Is there anyone that you are happy with today? Who did you like seeing play in the two games today, Debashis? Who inspired you? Who did you take something out of today?
Obviously, it has to be Rituraj Gaikwad, the way he played, because it's not easy when you have two failures and then to come back and play the innings and give the start. And for me, Sam Curran has been a revelation. And ever since he is growing to be a great all-rounder. And the good thing about an all-rounder is that if you fail with the ball, you can easily come back with the bat, or either way. That's the good thing about an all-rounder. And Sam Curran is proving that he is in the making of a great all-rounder. Obviously, he's 21 and he has a long way to go.
But this is where I find it very, very, very interesting. You've mentioned Sam Curran. I could also talk about say Stoinis, or I could talk about Mozon
Mm,
Reeks, Holder, who's not in the team now and may not even get a go
yeah.
because if SRH are going to win, they're going to have Rashid Khan, Bairstow, Warner, and Williamson. There's no place for Jason Holder. Are we batting some of these all-rounders too low in the order? Andre Russell's probably the right spot. He's an all-rounder. You have to call him an all-rounder. But do we sometimes need to have an all-rounder type batter given the opportunity to bat higher? Sam Curran,
Yes.
even Mozon Reeks. These guys can really take hold of the match in a way which can really change the course of the match. I think they sometimes need to risk putting those players higher in the order depending on the match. What do you guys think?
Agreed. I think Dhoni tried that with Sam the other day. I think their second game, he finished the game for them. That was good. I think Sam he's way too low. He could be a few spots um above. I mean, trying Moeen Ali at three was a pretty bold move, which worked out obviously. But yeah, all rounders. There's no reason why they can't be three, four, and five. You know, they don't have to be seven or eight. But it depends on the lineup, depends on the pitch, depends on who they're playing. I think there's a lot of
They should,
decisions. Yeah.
they should do it. They should do it. I think that's totally right. All right, let's answer some questions. Anyone, Pretty or
I was saying when Jason comes in, look, Ngidi replacing Bravo, beautiful move, fantastic. So where is Berendorf's place? Uh, well, Shardul Thakur maybe that might be a good change.
can they have who are the four non-Indians who
Moen,
played?
Sam, Faf, Jason? No, Ngidi. So yeah, you're right. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to let somebody go. I'm not sure when Jason is gonna come in. He needs to be bought in for the right game. And
He's out of quarantine, is he, Debashis?
Yes, he's out of quarantine.
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
You can't tinker around with the ones that are performing for CSK. You shouldn't be. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. You get the wrong combo, it's not going to work. Be a disaster.
I actually think that they may have to wait quite a while before they work out what they're going to do with him, but that's probably
I
fine.
agree. Yeah.
What about this one? Milan, who was so good to come back off the other platform. What about Bumrah's no balls?
Everyone's having no balls. Did you see the wides today? And I mean, the bowlers are really kind of need to keep it tighter, I think.
I have an opinion about no balls, and I'd like to hear what you think. I don't accept at all a bowler bowling a no ball. Why? Because if they set up their run up properly and set it up in some cases well before the popping crease, they should never have that problem. I know some bowlers think it's an advantage to bowl as close as they can to the other end, so to speak, and they do that in a way. But I think it's inexcusable in this day and age, and I also think it's dangerously subjected to ridicule or the potential of being called a deliberate no ball. When a bowler, I think Natarajan bowled no balls where his foot was well over the popping crease, so far over, you'd have to be a very inexperienced player to do that at any level. I can't understand that. I've never been a fast enough bowler, have a run up, but I can't imagine it. Debashis, what's your thoughts?
I think I more than the bowler, we should blame the bowling coach, because here comes the role of the bowling coach, because the bowlers they bowl a lot at the nets. Means I'm not too sure about the IPL matches because they hardly get to practice a lot because they are traveling from one city to other. Just as the case with RCB, they have reached Chennai and they have to play a match. So, but then I think herein lies the role of the bowling coach, because uh, take someone like like a Kapil Dev who has hardly bowled a no ball. He has never bowled a no ball in his career.
Wow.
But but then these days we are seeing spinners bowling no balls. So I think
Well,
that I sometimes gets very strange because they bowl a lot at the
Yeah.
nets. then why do they bowl a no ball? You can understand, you can understand that they are bowling a wide ball because they are trying variations.
Yeah.
That is understandable, but bowling a no ball is a grave offense because you get a free hit, and that free hit might go for a six. So
Six.
you eventually you are losing, you are wasting a ball as well as getting in for runs. So there is that's
It's
what
not
is.
cute.
The game has been marred by match fixing. I'm afraid. I'm not suggesting that in these games. I'm not suggesting that. But when a bowler bowls a significant no ball, everyone thinks about that immediately.
Yes, I was thinking about that as you were asking that question. I was like,
Well, it
oh,
was partly why I asked the question. The reality is that some of the deliveries I've seen, I'm not going to pick a game at all, but they're so far over the line. And I'm not saying I'm an expert with bowling, but I do know enough to know that you can see where you're planting your foot. You're not oblivious to that. You know, even your back foot, when you land your back foot, you'll know that you're going to go over. Okay? So if you know, the moment you hit your back foot and you realise it's going to be no ball, you can actually not let the ball go.
interesting.
And
Interesting.
that's the way coaches also try to train a person not to bowl that ball. They are conscious of where they're coming into bowl, and they'll know very soon at the delivery stride they're going to bowl a no ball. A lot of the cases, because their back foot, the positioning of the umpire, there are such things where an umpire is in fact too far back or sometimes too close, that can throw you, because umpires usually have one spot they stand. Some start standing further back, and that puts the bowler off, or in fact, some cases almost lean towards the bowler. There are certain circumstances where it can affect it. And I've been a coach with bowlers. They know, a bowler knows when they're bowling a no ball.
Wow, are
A
you
bowler
serious?
knows purely because it's their run up, it's their mode.
That's right. They know that they're probably over crossing the line. They're crossing the line.
The moment their back foot drops, they almost will know invariably at that point that they're bowling a no ball.
So they can stop. They have an opportunity to stop right there.
Exactly. So, not that you want to stop every ball, though, of course, but what I'm getting at is I don't believe that a bowler has no idea about himself bowling a no ball. The extra foot that he gets out of the delivery stride doesn't necessarily give him extra pace.
True.
It's actually a fallacy. I think Malcolm Marshall, a few bowlers actually bowled well in front of behind the crease, and could have taken almost, in some cases, another step. Ian Botham used as a tactic so as to change the length of his deliveries to bowl not there. These are clever men. So I'm not saying all bowlers are clever. They're not, certainly not. But some are
It's got to be very tricky for a fast bowler though, because sometimes they go so far back and they're so fast they just miss it. But you're right. There's just because you have that extra foot ahead, actually, there's more chances of, especially with the fast bowler, of that ball ending up as a full toss and then a six, because now you're even more closer.
You know what, guys? I've unearthed the trick to getting viewers. Put a thumbnail which shows three of us just talking like this. All these wan-fangled, colourful pictures and that, I'm not convinced they work anymore. I really am not. Debashis, let's take heed of this. Sometimes we have these colourful whiz-bang things, and you go through the history of them. Anyway, I'm digressing. All right, so let's look. Hanuks, there's some great comments here about run-ups. What I'm trying to get at, it is inexcusable to bowl a no ball at the highest level. The amount of training, preparation they do, coaching, etc., it's inexcusable.
What are your views of, we've seen this multiple times already in this tournament, where people have literally bowled 4 or 5 wides in a row? Is that just bad luck, bad timing, bad length, dodgy?
A person their bowling action can be off, and they can actually lose their stride, or more so their bowling action. If the ball is not passed over the next to the right ear on the way through, if they lose their momentum, their positioning into the crease when they run in, it can create wides. Or the sheer pressure of a batsman
Yeah.
who is moving around in the crease to try and negate that can cause that very often. So those factors, I don't have anything against wides, because wides
Fair enough.
are possible, very possible. But no balls, totally unacceptable. And I think Dabasha said it, a spinner bowling a no ball, what the hell? They take
I
3
know.
steps. How is that possible? Dabasha, how is that possible?
That's what I said. How is that possible?
Oh,
Actually, I've never, you know what? I think have I seen you play cricket at all, Dabasha? I don't think I've seen you play cricket. What was what you obviously played cricket. What was your forte? What did you like to? What were you, bowler or batter?
Batter.
Ah, you were a David Byrne, were you?
Not opening the batting. Coming lower
Yes,
down the
right.
order. Lower down the order.
Were you a hitter?
Lower down the order. That's what I said.
Well, were you
Maybe
a hitter?
I
Were you a
I I
hitter?
no no I totally, because I have played quite a few media matches on tours for the Indian media. I played in Sri Lanka, Australia, England, and New Zealand also recently, 2018. So basically, I am someone. If someone is not feeling well, the batters, I mean to say, I get in. So I'm not a regular in the side. So just kind of a stopgap.
you're a substitute.
No. Okay. There's going to be a day, guys. There's going to be a day. Mark my words. There's going to be a day when Pretty, Dabashis, and Norman, and we'll throw in Chris Vernon. Well, I've played Chris Vernon. I played Chris Vernon. Chris, Adam, Monty. We're going to have a team.
Okay. Oh my God.
Then my commentary will go to another level of height, my respect level. When you see me coming into bowl, Dabashis, you will be panicking.
Can I be the third umpire?
I'm not letting you be umpire. Pretty bloody hell, you'll call no ball all the time. You'd be a horrific umpire, because you'd be fighting with me every delivery. You'd be saying no ball.
I'd be like, wide out. I'm like, no, no, no.
No way. Dabashis, do you realise that you're not going to be able to handle my deliveries? Just face the fact.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
All right, okay. Did you actually, on an earlier thing with Monty got stuck in him. He's saying, Norman, you have a great knack of getting the story back to you every time. He was speaking with him. Very fun.
He's true. He's right.
Sunil Dutta, Pretty Apollo looks amazing.
Oh, thank you, Sunil. Thank you. I guess the new hairstyle and the new look is, I think people love it. It's very, 2 months ago, I was very different. I was all dolled up and I had my blow dry and it looked like I was coming from a gala. And I was wearing either a suit or something very fabulous. And now I'm just being very chill.
You know what? Don't take this wrongly, but I always think a woman looks best naturally, if that makes any sense. A lot of women, and I'm talking generally here, overdo things like makeup, hair, and whatever. It doesn't necessarily happen. If they're good looking, the inner beauty comes out.
That's right.
That's why I don't shave. Dabashis?
Yes, Norman.
I'm glad I'm just making sure you respond. Here we go. Yes, he can, my friend. One ball with a speed of 153.0 during the Aussie series, 89, and bowled many balls other than that over 149. Right now, he is a little cautious. We're talking about Siraj, I'm guessing there. He's quite fast. He's quite fast indeed. I hate to say this, our numbers are going quite high.
And talking about that, and talking about the no balls, sometimes I'm talking about the fast bowlers. They do bowl no balls when they try to bowl that extra bit of pace.
Yeah.
When they try to bowl a little bit quicker, at times they overstep.
Yeah, okay, that could happen. I grant that, but you still know where your feet are landing when you bowl.
Because it is a little bit strange, because the bowlers, when they warm up before the toss, they make their bowling run up, they
Yes,
mark their run up,
Very
and
precisely.
they
and
mark
great
it.
and they also few bowlers I know very well about Mohammad Shami, someone like Mohammad Shami and Bumrah. They do a run up, they do a follow through, they do a run up, stress to see where they are landing, what exactly is their bowling run up, and if, so they do a lot of homework. But then end of the day, you never know, because when once you go in that field, once you are in the middle in the middle of a match, then invariably you might land a little step ahead, because just to get that extra bit of pace, because no one bowls a no ball intentionally, because it's just that they might be going trying to do some extra thing, trying to get the better of the batsman. That's where they land their foot ahead.
Exactly. I mean, I've just checked my. I've got all these battery cords here, and sometimes I forget to plug things in, and my computer's going, put your battery in. So I'm just look. I want to say that this is a very good conversation, because we don't often talk about no balls as much, and I think that's a
Yes.
lost topic. There's a lot of conjecture about it being a fraudulent or a match fixing effort, but we need to talk about it because it's extremely important, and it's unacceptable, not because of match fixing, but because of the state of the game, the
Yeah.
extra ball, the free hit, the whole thing. It is an
There's so
unacceptable.
much at stake. They are so penalized. I actually think it's wow. I don't think you should be getting a free hit for a no ball. It should just be voided, and well, I guess that is a free hit. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But okay, but I mean, a free hit implies, or it means that you can actually not, you can't get out.
that's right.
So that's, and how rarely do you see a player actually take advantage and really score a big shot? It actually puts undue pressure on the batsman to actually do something they don't want to do. They're just batted normally, and probably bat better, to be honest with you. Okay. Sunil Dutta, he must be new. Norman, you look like an Aussie who works hard. Just missed the beer in your hand.
Oh,
Well, I've got my crystal ball, which I'm using a lot lately, and I still see DC, Delhi Capitals, in there. I see
okay.
DeBarcis changing his hat, perhaps to another hat. I'm going to get it. I've been told my hat and shirt look like I'm a butcher, and I should order, and I should be ordering, 5 kilos of, meatball or something, because it looks like a butcher's. Like butchers don't exactly do very stylish hats. So yes, okay, I take that comment. Thank you very much. I've started it. All right. This is interesting. This is. We talked about bowling no balls. Debashish, can you read that?
Yeah, those misfields by KKR cost them the match. Cummins played amazing.
Well, the misfields were pretty significant, I must say. There was some pretty awful fielding going on there. But I tell you what, fielding on Chennai, for example, or for that matter, even Wankhede, it's pretty diabolical. I've actually played on both pitches in my day, and I found them both very, very undulating.
Wow.
The outfield is pretty poor. What is it with Indian outfield, Sebastian? Why aren't they as good as an Australian outfield, for example?
You mean the bowling attack?
No,
No.
The
The
outfield?
outfield.
Outfield?
outfield.
Few of the India has few of the greatest outfields, means,
Yeah.
and they are lightning fast. You talk
You're
about Eden Gardens, because I know Eden Gardens very well, being coming from Calcutta.
Yeah.
I think means Eden Gardens. If you just middle that ball, it's lightning fast. Means the outfielders, they struggle to save the boundaries. And once they get on those practice pitches, Eden Gardens, it used to have those practice pitches out near the boundary, which is not no
Yeah.
more the case now. It's totally green around all through. But then it is lightning fast. You talk about Mohali, it has one of the best outfields. Means all these grounds here have they have good outfields, means
Mhm.
lush green outfields. So that's it.
Norman, you're starting to sound like Chris. You're saying that these outfields aren't up to scratch. Who's to say what's good and what's not? What's good for you isn't good for us. So
Maybe. Chris is tweeting, commenting on our WhatsApp page while our sessions are on. That annoys me. So he's actively watching, but he's not with us. Chris Vernon, okay, look, he's busy with his Lord's thing. He's there, but he has got work commitments. He's actually at his desk doing work, and then he gets bored and he goes and tweets. Now look at this comment here. Poonam artificial jewelry. Let's support everyone. Let's buy Poonam artificial jewelry. It's probably the best artificial jewelry this side of Poonam.
One tip, Poonam, remove the word artificial. Just call it Poonam jewelry. Don't add, from a marketing perspective, artificial means fake and inauthentic. You don't want things like that. People will be like, "Oh, I don't want to go there."
At least he's being honest. There are plenty of jewelry shops which do have artificial jewelry. And
no, but if you want to attract people, you should say Poonam luxury jewelry. You shouldn't say Poonam artificial jewelry.
Okay. But he says he's just described your channel. I was looking at you all over YouTube, mate. Now, what does that mean? That's a lovely comment, I'm sure. But I mean, it's interesting how the what do they call the metrics or the what's the term for it? There's a certain algorithm that provide. You see my video, our video, and then suddenly one of the others, like say, Melinda Farrell's comes after. It's interesting.
It's the same, and what I've noticed, the same people are watching, the same crowd is watching several channels. You'd be surprised. Like I went on Hoggy's channel once, and there were people from our chat over there. I was like, oh my God. And they were asking questions too. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. This is hilarious. So there is the same slice of the pie that are watching a certain kind of shows. So, and they got time for all shows, obviously. That's why good to keep it short and sweet sometimes, or have, so that people can just quickly tune in, and so on. Yeah. Interesting.
That's an interesting one. Our programs are very long, but
I think our conversations are very different. Very different to. We're not doing some show review or analysis. We're talking about the game at large, and we bring in other factors such as certainly politics and economies, and we talk about so many different things surrounding cricket and just the world at large, which I think is great.
Absolutely. You can see we've got some new people, like SS here is or dollar sign. No, which is your favourite team on IPL? It is. My favourite team is KKR, but my team that I actually support, that I think will win the IPL in 2021 is Delhi Capitals. And the reason I go for Kolkata Knight Riders is mainly because of a gentleman sitting there next to us, Debashis. I love Eden Gardens. I love the pomp and ceremony of that. I love when Simon Kaddish was playing with KKR. It's been going for 14 years, but KKR is my soft spot. Unfortunately, not doing that well, and I like it to see. I hate to say it, I like to see another captain. Not that I'm against Iron Morgan, but I think KKR need a more dynamic captain. What do you think, Debashis?
But who do you get? I think.
Yeah.
They changed Dinesh Karthik last season and brought in Wayne Morgan. You need to give him the full season. It doesn't work like that way because.
Fair enough.
I think Morgan was not the right
player with him
to begin with.
The full season to judge before we judge him.
Yeah, but I think it was a mistake to bring him in. He is great. He's great in leading England in ODI, T20 test. Not test, but I don't see him. Even to be honest, as a player, he hasn't fired up either. So
actually,
this IPL is not working for him. He is underperforming on all levels, and it's nice that he's got this great composure. I think that's the best. What he can give the team is calmness. Having said that, beyond that, he's not firing on any cylinder right now, and I don't think he's giving them the leadership that they really deserve. Some players like Russell and Cummins obviously are going, they're overperforming, but Yeah, I think next season it might be someone else.
Well, but having said that, though, and I'm being fair to what Tabasha said, then they have to give him a bit more of a go.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think he was the right choice to begin with. Maybe
No,
that they made a
I have to say.
mistake in picking him as a captain. Yeah.
But what about Tabasha? If Owen Morgan continues to fail with a bat, are you going to keep him in there even though he's failing with a bat?
He will still be persisted with, because it's not fair. I mean, I would like to stress time and again, because when you appoint a captain, you have to give him a good,
Yeah.
long go. Means it applies to anyone, be it a
Yeah.
batsman or a bowler or a youngster more so with a youngster. You need to give him a long rope before you judge him.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, he needs to start batting better. I'm telling you what, he needs some form because he seems suffering up at the top of the order. Was that what I know? Yeah.
Funny.
Naga Koti. Sorry, I thought very little of him today. Well, why was he in the side?
I've never heard of him before.
Yeah,
Tabashis?
we did a preview. We did a preview show yesterday, and what would be the predicted 11, and we kept it would be either Shivam Mavi or Kamlesh Nagarkoti in that side, and as it was the case today, because Nagarkoti was playing, and both these youngsters, they owe a lot to the KKR management, because the sheer fact is that when they were picked from the auction in 2019, they had some injury, so they missed out the full season in 2019. But then the KKR management, they retained them. They could have easily let them go, but then they invested a lot in just two youngsters, because they both of them are part of that under 19 World Cup winning side. Both case Shivam
Mhm.
Mavi and Kamlesh Nagarkoti,
Okay,
and
well that's something I didn't realize that.
they are really really bright talent, and I think Kamlesh Nagarkoti or Shivam Mavi, you can easily see someday making it to that Indian side, because they are so talented and they have been spoken highly of. So I
Mm.
think KKR management has put in a lot of and they have invested on them a lot, and so they have been persisted with.
Okay. Very, very, very clear and very understanding words what you've said, but I think it's a bit too early.
Yeah.
I think that's my thoughts. But anyway, I haven't. Perhaps I can't judge them because I haven't seen enough of them, and I'm judging what I'm seeing in front of me now. And the way they played today did not inspire me.
Hmm.
Okay,
Agreed.
your Gills and your Shaws to an extent, or Washington Sundar when he came in, those players play out of their skin in their early matches at any level. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of up and coming young Indian domestic players. I mean, there's the top five, obviously. I don't think Nagarkoti is in that top five. Gaitwad, so happy that he's finding himself. I think the CSK expects a lot from him, and hopefully he'll continue. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm looking forward to this season. I'm looking for Delhi Capitals doing well, but I'm even more excited about next season because the complete upside down turning over of players, the
Yes.
change in the landscape will create a new era. I think, but there's often a question about what players will be retained by those sides because they're allowed to retain three. Is that right, Demarcus?
That is not yet final, Norman,
Yeah.
because it's too early. But then definitely there will be some dynamics where the teams can be allowed to retain three players. Obviously, some teams like Chennai Super Kings would not like to let go of Mahendra Singh Dhoni, or be it
That's right.
Mumbai Indians or a Royal Challengers Bangalore. They would like to stick with Virat Kohli, or a Mumbai
Mhm.
Indians would like to stick with Rohit Sharma, because those are the faces of these teams. These
Yes.
players. You talk about Rohit Sharma, automatically you relate to Mumbai Indians, or
Mumbai.
a Chennai Super Kings, you automatically relate to Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So I think there will be some dynamics where these teams will be allowed to retain few players. I think it won't be more than three or four, to say at least, because that then it will be unfair to those two new teams who would be coming up. It would be
Yeah.
unfair.
Can I just quickly say, and I'm going to say that while the viewers are here, we've got a number of new viewers today. I've noticed quite a few that are commenting, and I'm seeing variation. please, I'm going to ask you to listen to me. You're watching it, you're going to enjoy this because we're going to have a lot of fun, okay? But what you do to show me your intention is to subscribe. Because out of about 75% to 80% of people who view, they watch and watch quite frequently, but they don't subscribe. Now, I understand people think, oh, I'm going to be, bombarded by things from this channel. No, you won't be. And it's free, and I want you to do that because I want to be able to see that reflection. So if you've just joined us, I can rattle off a whole lot of names here. Ben, I can see there. I think it's Sunil Dutta, maybe. I think you're new. Put him artificial jewelry, for example. I really want you to make your efforts to just. You might even be not online. You may not be logged into your YouTube. You're watching not logged in. Well, log in, because you log in, you've got benefits. You can put music on YouTube. There's a lot of benefits there. Just subscribe. It doesn't hurt. So please, I'm asking you. I'm watching the dynamics today, and I like to see you actually subscribe. So I normally would have a bell button and notification at the end and at the beginning. I'm telling you when we're talking. Please remember that. And look at that. Angel Inglis, I'm done subscribing ages ago. I know you are, Angel. You've been here for a long time. I'm not asking you. I know you're there. I'm happy you're there. That's why you're here. That's why we interact with you. Is there a Patreon option? Interesting you asked that, because I've looked at that, but actually there is a subscription area within YouTube as well, and I've got that going. So I put an artificial jewelry. If you go to there's a tab there about membership. It's there. So do note that. But please take your time doing that for a moment. While Pretty fixes her hair and Debastis fixes his, we can do that. Actually, Debastis, can you give our viewers
give us a glimpse?
A cap reveal. I mean, my cap reveal is disastrous. I got hair, it's a mess. I've got long hair, but I'm dead. So, can I get a Debastis? Can I have a cap reveal, please?
Not here, Norman. Okay, Norman, can I make a move now? Because only
if you smile.
Yeah. So I have to do a lot of stuff tomorrow morning.
A proper smile. A proper smile.
Yeah. Thank you.
I want to see teeth.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you, Norman.
All right.
Oh, he's gone. I think he was wanting to go about half an hour ago.
No, he didn't message me about that, though. I mean, he's a lovely bloke, and he and I do a lot of work together, and we do a lot. I mean, I work with him. I'm doing a lot with him now, and it's I'm helping him out as well. So it's a two-way street, and I respect him, and I know that. But we've got viewership coming out of our east today. Isn't it interesting how things happen? It may well have been the thumbnail. I don't know what it is, but we've got pictures of you, me, and Debastis there. And you know what? And I'm sure viewers will agree. There are 40,000 pictures of Emma Stoney and Owen Morgan on the fronts. With the names of the team. I mean, it becomes a bit overwhelming when you see 500 pictures of these two players.
Yeah.
They may look whiz bang, and they might have a certain pose. That's not what the video is about.
No,
it's the content. It's the discussion. No thumbnail should be taken as the reason. There are some that are genuinely good, like Jared Kimbers or whatever. They're very innovative.
Yeah.
But their show is also innovative. So
yeah, you should have more pictures of me sometimes on your thumbnails too. With my
you're on there now. You're on there right now. So I agree with you totally.
But nice ones, like really professional corporate. I'll send you some. I think they'll be, because I know when they attract a lot of viewers because they look clean and they look sophisticated, and that's what I provide for this channel.
That's your thing.
Now, one interesting question I wanted to bring up: isn't it funny that some players, when they are with a certain team, they don't quite do that well, and then when they trade teams, this does happen a lot. They really find their groove, and isn't that interesting? Their caliber is still the same. They're still just as good, but depending on the captain and the team dynamic, they may do poorly or they may be a match winner. And I think we've seen that definitely with the IPL.
Huge point. It's extremely relevant. I would argue Maxwell, because of the presence of de Villiers and Kohli, and also the coach which is Simon Kadich, is significant. With Rishabh Pant, although he doesn't need too much help, his dynamic with the likes of Ponting is very significant. And now that Steve Smith is there, and in turn Williamson is with SRH, those dynamics are winning. Delhi Capitals, RCB, and Mumbai Indians are certainly three that are taking that. And then there's also CSK's dynamic as well.
Yeah.
Punjab hasn't got that identity at all. They've got KL Rahul's. I'm not knocking KL Rahul. It's not about him, but I don't think he has got it right there in terms of the overall mix. And I'm going to go back to the owners of teams who can be very, I hate to say it, egotistical or want to win now or want to win yesterday. Let's buy this young bloke. Let's pay millions for him and get him here now is a huge mistake. Huge mistake. I really, if Punjab Kings didn't buy Riley Meredith or Richardson, they would have been better off.
I think so. And better off maybe invested in either another player or even a domestic one. But another example is Moeen Ali. Did you know that he was with RCB? And he apparently, the commentators were saying he wasn't quite happy there. And now under Dhoni, he's found his place. He's feeling at home here. And they're really utilizing him in the most effective way. And I think he's showing what a match winner who would have thought, right? Incredible. So I think he's found his place in the sun under CSK, whereas I think with RCB, he wasn't all that happy. Maybe the dynamic with the captain, or obviously it just didn't work for him. But he's shining here.
I can't imagine Kohli putting Moeen Ali at first drop.
No.
There's no way that would happen. And look, and I don't blame Kohli for that as well. It doesn't fit the way that his team plays.
Yeah.
And let's be honest for a minute. Moeen Ali does not best first drop for his team. His national team. He has done it. He has done it. But he doesn't do that regularly. So, yeah, I totally agree. I think it's
but
great.
That also shows the creativity and taking risks on the part of Dhoni to do that. Like probably no other captain would. They're much more conservative. But I think Dhoni apparently likes to have a lot of options, and he just kind of like plays with what he has. And there's a lot of like a kind of mixing, matching going on. And obviously it creates for a dynamic field, which I think it's working.
Point Motorfield Jewelry has actually said bye and good morning.
Okay.
That's nice. There's an answer to your question. Vikash Singh.
Yes.
That's a very good point.
I must say Shane Watson over-delivered for CSK. He sort of he was behind some of their championships. He was the reason why they performed brilliantly. And he, again, felt very much at home. And he talks about Dhoni a lot and what he's learned and just the leadership style and so on, because he's definitely in the media a lot these days. So he's been doing a lot of those press junkets and things like that, and he has a lot of good things to say about CSK.
Yeah, Shane Watson. I'm not a fan of him, to be very honest with you. I think he chases the almighty dollar. Okay, and the more I think about that in cricket, the more I don't like it. The more I don't like it. I mean, Mitchell Stark's a good example of someone who doesn't necessarily chase money.
Wow.
He's not playing. He's made a decision to stay home with Lister Healy and have a break when he could be making millions sitting here right now. He's wealthy enough as it is anyway. But what I'm getting at is he's got a level of respect. Hazelwood's the same. Pat Cummins is probably still a bit young and wants to get going. Maybe that's the purpose of that. But what I'm getting at is I'm not happy with people who chase the money. And that's their main motivation. That annoys me, and it's happening too much in cricket.
A lot of them do. You'll be shocked. And I think you can see it a little bit, with their attitude and so on. With some of the international players that are playing right now, who is in it for the money and who's not.
Yeah, there's an artificialness, that's a word, artificiality of the way that they put on this incredibly I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. But then they come to Australia and they don't even sign an autograph with someone. I tell you what, if you're playing for your country, whether it's cricket or any sport, and you do not sign autographs when kids come up to you, you have me to answer to, because
Oh, that's so
I'm,
cute.
I'm very offended when I see, and I see a lot of this, many players go, I'm too busy. No, you're not. You're not too busy. Sign the bloody thing and make it, and be in that photograph and smile with that kid and give him his time of day. That kid looks up to you, has been following you for years, or whatever the case is, give him the time of day. The only man in the Indian team, I'm sorry, I'm going to be pedantic. I know BCCI control a lot of this. I know. But one person who will break ranks every time is Virat Kohli. I have been to many times when they've arrived on buses to hotels, post-game, pre-game, whatever. He goes out of his way and goes to that person, helps, and then you could argue takes a risk. Maybe there's some weirdo out there who might grab him. Who knows? But
great.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm just, and there's a few. I'm not going to mention names, because I can mention a few factually that I've seen do it every single time and get annoyed when someone comes up to them. And I thought, I say, no, you are public property.
Well, it's a part and parcel of, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say I want the millions and I want to be a superstar and please don't bother me and please leave me alone. Hollywood actors are the same, or anybody, in like, I get invited to a lot of premieres and events here, and we do a red carpet. You have to go on the red carpet. You have I know it sounds fun for people who are not in the industry, but it's a drag to get on the red carpet, pose for 100 photographers, and you're smiling at everybody. You got to bring it, and there are many people who hate it. But for me, as I'm like, no, I love it. I'm grateful to be here. I'm happy that I'm a billing for you. I'm happy that you put me on your press release, that I'm a part of this amazing event, and you think I'm, there's big, if photo agencies like Getty and so on here, and the photographers are ready. Bring it, because that's how Hollywood works.
But there's a difference between what you're talking about. That is where it does start borderlining on a job, where you're in front of cameras, where they're not necessarily fans, but they're doing a jop to capture you.
But I know the autograph thing is a little different, of course. Yeah.
So if a young kid come up to you and asks for your autograph,
you know me, I pose with people.
Of course. That's what I'm saying. That is the attitude that needs to be taken. It's almost a job for them, but in a positive light. Kohli does it, no doubt. I've seen him do it many times when some of his teammates haven't. Now, I find that, look, I mean, Sachin Tendulkar is an interesting one. He's so incredibly popular and is mobbed everywhere. It's actually borderline dangerous if he does that. He has to sometimes just go blink it straight in and out because of the danger factor. But he could also do a bit more of it on occasions too. A little bit more. Kohli does it. Dhoni jumps fences and sits next to
I know. He's like, he'll break ranks to do things like that.
Those two do it. Whereas other players in that team who are, getting to be well known, who brush people. And
that's not nice.
You could really offend someone for life doing that.
Yes.
And that's how, there's no.
I mean, you could traumatize a little kid.
Yep.
I know it's silly, but especially a young child who's impressionable, and it's rejection, and it manifests, and you don't want this kid growing up thinking he's worthless. That's how it comes across. And also, it's not a good look. And paparazzi is always there to take that snap of you turning away, and that becomes, again, it's not good for your PR either to be a jerk.
Well, I don't want to. I shouldn't be mentioning that, but Shane Watson in Australia, he lives pretty close to me in Sydney. He doesn't give anyone the time of day. No one. When it becomes something that he needs to do, he's front and center. Okay, but and that's a double standard that I don't accept. I'm afraid. There's nothing wrong with. I mean, the best example is Adam Gilchrist will be in a lift with you and not know you, and will say, "Oh, how's your day?
Wow.
Oh, it's a great day." He will not sit in the lift and say nothing. He'll actually, "Oh, how's your day? Oh, enjoy the day. He actually, I think, enjoys that, to be normal, to talk to people.
Yeah, he
That's
seems
why
like he's so comfortable with he doesn't he doesn't put himself on a pedestal. What about Shane Warne and Brett Lee? They both seem very accessible, very friendly.
Brett Lee is unbelievably
I
nice.
love him.
Brett Lee had a job when he was playing cricket as a suit tailor. Okay,
That's right. Yes,
and
yes.
he literally he'd walk in there, bro, how are you? And he remembered people's names and approached these jobs with a great deal of friendliness and humble humility. And that's because he had the grounding of that shop to deal with. That's the difference. And I don't want to pick on players. I'm not trying to pick on players, but some of them know what I'm talking about, where they don't have that acumen. Shane Warne's an interesting one. He's a real character. He's very vibrant. He's very bubbly. He's a real talker. When he's in a nightclub, he'll talk to everybody. Okay? I'm sorry to say he'll talk to everybody. But when he's in certain circumstances, he gets a bit standoffish. But look, I take him more as a positive than a negative, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Brett Lee's on another planet. Simon Caddis, amazing guy. Michael Hussey, amazing. Brad Hogg,
Brad Hogg, yeah.
The way he approaches his viewers.
Australian people in general, but having lived all around the world, I can tell you that Aussies are maybe the most down to earth and level-headed people in the world. They just, bar a few people, they just don't take themselves that seriously, and they're very respectful. And I think that level of the down to earthness is very attractive, because you don't find that in the US, you don't find that in Europe, you don't find that in the UK. But in Australia you do. It's an Aussie quality, I think, and people love Australians for having that.
Okay, we're getting a prediction for the orange cap and purple cap now. In terms of most runs, I mean, look, Shikhar Dhawan, if he keeps going the way
he's so ahead. For now, I mean, there's a good catch-up game happening. But
Shikhar Dhawan, I'll tell you what, we talk about Rishabh Pant winning for Delhi Capitals, but Shikhar Dhawan, who's a Delhi Capitals player, is certainly up there.
Yeah, he should take it if he continue. Probably because he's got almost 100 lead over the others. The other 4 are very tight. They're very close to each other. They keep changing. But bowler, I mean, look, I think
the orange cap is most runs, and purple cap's most wickets.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, Chahal must be up there. Is he up there?
Which Chahar? Because they're both brilliant. They both have taken a lot of wickets, but Chahar has Deepak Chahar of CSK. He's got a ton now.
Well, I'm trying to find
Yeah. I'm curious to know who is the top 3 in that. He's got to be in the top 3, I think.
Yeah, I'm not finding it quickly.
I'll look it up. Very curious.
Okay, would be team series. No, I can't find it. It's not there. I can't find it. All right. I've got the Appleton Ladies Potato Race. How did I get that? I've pressed the button and it's gone to the apple potato. Oh, okay. Ian Higgins. Who's Ian Higgins?
Great cricketer.
Oh, from the great cricketer.
Your friend.
Actually, no. Great cricketer.
Yeah.
They're trying to get Spotify on board, and I met the lady from Spotify. The fact is, look, good on them. They're probably, my only criticism of them is they're too Aussie.
Yeah, they're very Aussie. Yeah,
they're a bit too much Aussie. They've got a good Australian following. They had a connection to Channel 7. Of course, they're going to be popular. Good on them.
But majority of their audience is Indian. It's 90+% is Indian, because I've looked at their shows, and you look at they have very intelligently, they found the formula to get that slice of the pie. And when they did the India versus Australia series, they were pretty good. But when they covered India versus England, they were so pro India, it's not funny. And that
but
attracted a
don't you
lot of
find it?
Indian fans.
But yeah, but don't. I mean, and I'm look. I'm doing
We
this
had
not
this
to.
conversation. You're absolutely right, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say. I don't want it to say. I don't want to sound like I'm jealous because I'm not. I'm not complete opposite. I'm happy for them because there are so many people out there. Everyone
Right.
has it. No one's really competing. Maybe we're
Yeah.
competing with some people, but I mean, I'm more interested in the fact: are they genuinely supporting India? I People say to me that I'm just after the views. I'm not.
No, I
I'm
think
not.
you're genuinely passionate. I think with their show, like I said, they very intelligently figured out how to attract this crowd, and they've done it. Recently, they did they reviewed the CSK and RR game or something like that, and they were, they made a comment about Dhoni's done or something like that. And I had to comment. I said, guys, you want this podcast to end right now and everything is capiche. I mean, not capiche, like finito. You go right ahead and make comments like that. You will isolate people in a heartbeat with that
Yeah,
sort of statement. You just
but
don't do that. It's not
I
done.
just don't. I just don't think they're. I just don't think they're very. They're not. They're not so insightful. I don't think that's just my thoughts. But that's
They're
their
just
place.
funny and witty, but I agree with you. I think I mean, they genuinely accept that India is going to dominate cricket for the next, say, a couple of decades. I think, and the Asian century and all of that. This is, they agree, they acknowledge, they accept it. But I think their sincerity with how great India is a bit tricky because I know they were great when they did the India versus England, but now when they cover the IPL, when they make some statements about, and then they make some statements about India and Indian culture and all of that, I'm thinking, I wouldn't say that. That's politically not very
Well,
kosher. And
they make a comment the next day. IPL was they're implying pill, and that's a pretty crass
I'm
thing.
with you. You got to be tread carefully. I think they've become so popular so quickly that it's a bit,
Yeah,
they think that they're invincible and they're not.
yeah. Well, I met a person from Spotify who was the person who's meant to be organising some more Spotify's in a podcast version.
Sure.
They're just purely not visual, but their voices, and there's a difference between that. I mean, you can be funny when you're in front of someone, but you can be less captivating if there's no person, and vice versa. So anyway, good on them. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for. I've got some great friends who are real journalists, like your Melinda Farrells,
Yep.
your Jared Kimbers, Jeff Lemons. They're people I applaud. I love watching their stuff too. When I have time, I watch it. So I'm happy, and I know they watch my stuff too because they tell me. But we're friends, and when Jared Kimber has time, he's going to come on the show, and he's a great mate of mine. Melinda will do the same. But I've got to be respectful. I've got to let them build their own thing. I'm not going to. I don't want to come on my. I don't want them to come on my show because I want views. That's complete garbage. I mean,
everyone has their own path, and they have to find their way. It's they'll have their slice of the pie. They'll have their fans, their people who like what they do, and the ones that are sincere and passionate will be the ones that will have longevity.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you this much, guys. I'm not going away. I'm loving this. I'm enjoying this. I've got great people with me, such as Pretty and obviously Chris Vernon. Aparna was meant to be here today too. Actually, she's had a few issues with the uni and things that are going on. She obviously pressure there. She was not focusing enough. She woke up, but she felt like got a headache. But she's a bit. I spoke to her at length today. I wanted to know how she was.
I also have to say, you brought up Melinda. We've connected on social media, and it's amazing to do that. And she had put up a post saying, are there any female podcasters doing cricket analysis? And she said, I've looked through the internet. There's literally two or three, and one of them is just women's cricket. So honestly, there's a couple of women, I think, around the world doing well. From my perspective, and what she does too. We're just about the only few gals in town doing this, which is actually very good for us because it's so unique, rare, and niche. But this is a game that's played by, that's watched by billions, very lucrative. It's huge. And to think that there's such a handful of female analysts really taking it to the next level and actually have a show, their own show. Wow.
It's great. Now that's and you know I applaud that because I give people like not that I need you a chance. You didn't need a chance. You're good as you are, but a partner a chance. I give other people a chance, and I think that's important. And there's no such thing as too many or too few. Well, there is too few, but there's no such thing as too many because even if there are a lot of girls out there doing it, they have to like it and also they have to be passionate about it. And if they want to stay in the business, they've got to enjoy it. And that's the difference as well. You enjoy this. I know that. So it's very important. I'm going to do something a little bit unusual. I'm going to move around a bit. So give me a second. I'm just going to walk around a bit.
I have the difficult task of picking a name for my segment because I've received so many amazing names and suggestions, and I got to find the right one. I think I'll put a poll out for the top. To be honest, I can put 10 names up there and see how people vote. Like what name do you like the most?
Are you talking now about your YouTube channel? You're talking about a podcast?
No, my channel will always be the Preeti Experience, but within the channel, I want to have a separate segment specifically really dedicated to cricket. And because of that political angle, I'm going to kind of marry the two. So it's going to be the cricket/politics segment, which includes interviews, analysis, whatnot, and under the umbrella of the Preeti Experience. So it won't be a separate channel in its own by itself. It'll be under my brand, but a specific playlist, a specific segment, and I just have to find that right name. So I hope I picked the right one.
Well, I mean, I need to get rid of the name Kochenak from probably. I'm going to put Eyes on Cricket.
It should be Eyes on Cricket. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that for a reason because it's you've got to establish your name, and I think I've done that now. I mean, I don't mind it being a bit long. I'm not really worried about it, but I know Eyes on Cricket is what's going to stay.
Yes.
Although when if you Google Eyes on Cricket with Norman, I'm on the top line. So which is good sign. It's a good sign. Is my volume okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm in a slightly darker room now. I'm just I'm having to be because I'm See this where I am now. Pretty to let you know, I'm actually in.
You look like you're in a infrared sauna.
It's just a bad light in the room here, but I'm basically. There's two sections of the place I'm in. One's where my mother is, and one's where mine is. They're very separate, but sorry, when I say I have another place as well.
We call it a duplex here.
Yeah, you could say that. But there's another. I have my own place as well, which is somewhere separate from here. But for obvious reasons, I'm with my mother. I'm spending time with her, so I need to be more here. So there are two women YouTubers from Pakistan. Zainab, I know both of them, and Sawir. They're there. They're both great. Have you met Zainab? She's a lovely lady. Just so when you spoke to Melinda, did she talk to you about you and about the channels? And
No. I just connected with her, and we were talking about feminism and just women's place in sport or something like that. And she agreed with me. She retweeted me, and we did that. Obviously, we have similar views on that. And then she had tweeted something about, I'm searching all over the internet for female shows, like shows hosted by females, English speaking, because they are in India. Of course, there's several that are in Hindi or other languages, but specifically English, it's really minuscule. And there are a few they do women's cricket only, but the women following the men's game only, like I guess myself, and what she does is really, it's a very, very small number, but that's not a bad thing for us. It makes us really stand out.
But I think you've hit a point though. Women's cricket for women. I mean, there's one other platform. There is Crick Zone, which is for women. Women's Crick Zone, and I know Yash very, very well. And we converse a lot. Great to see them doing that. They're doing pretty well. But they're going to be obviously restricted in that, but they don't care because that's what they want to do, and they've found their niche. In terms of what I believe you should be doing is all cricket, and from a women's perspective, which is a very different platform altogether. It's not the same thing. Absolutely. So, all right. So, again, I'll just talk a bit about cricket today. There's no doubt that India, again, I mean, I didn't know much about these under-19 players that Tobias has talked about today. They speak very highly about them. The two that were selected that didn't play well today. The names, so it's just hard to keep track of all these Indian domestic players. There are
It's
so
great.
many.
It's fantastic. There's so many.
It's amazing.
I'm gonna do a piece, I think, for my channel. I'm gonna create some content where I review the up and coming young players, because someone actually suggested that your channel should do something that nobody else is doing, which is almost give a platform also to these young players, or review them and preview them or whatnot. So I might do something on that. That might be a hot episode, actually. People want to know who are the next hot players.
Well, they're not new for very long. That's the point. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
Okay, Norman asking. Amarish Suresh is on us quite regularly. Norman wants you to ask Pretty about Isha Guha calling Pujara's century in Australia in 1890 series. Apparently, it was an emotional moment for a lot of female fans and players. Like, what's your take? What's your take?
I think it's beautiful that one gets passionate and emotional about it. I mean, I don't get emotional. I can hold my emotions pretty well because I can be, I can turn in and out. But I think to be passionate, you're almost kind of breaking the rank. And, as a commentator, you have to be fair and balanced. But there are those moments, if we're in a final or whatnot, when your team, your country person is making that winning shot, or you're going to win, when you just lose it. And if that's what she did, and hey, Pujara, look what a brilliant knock that was. I think there were so many fans around the world that were so proud of him, and I think it's beautiful that she got a little animated. She calls games she's very good at that. Because look, I'm all about merit. Don't have a woman there just because she's a woman. Have a brilliant woman there, or whoever you have there, make sure that they're brilliant. She is very good at calling games, so I think she does a good job.
You're gonna laugh at this. You're gonna laugh at this. You wouldn't believe what I'm doing. You'll laugh. I'm on the streets out in front of my place. I put my car in the wrong spot last night. I've got to move it.
Oh my God, this is crazy, guys. This is what
there?
gorgeous Sydney looks like.
I haven't been booked, have I? This is hilarious.
What kind of car do you have, Norman?
Hang on. I'm going to put the volume down. Sorry, guys. This is funny. This is hilarious, isn't it? I've got to move my car because I had it in a bad spot. I could be in a lot of trouble. All right. Isn't this funny? I've had to move my car. If I didn't move my car, I'd be in trouble.
Well, a change of scenery is always good.
Sorry?
A change of scenery is always good. Sometimes I have to move around the house to get better light or whatnot. It's great.
Yeah, it was more that I had to move the car. If I didn't move the car, my car was parked at a bus stop.
Oh my! You'd get towed.
I know. I've somehow survived that.
You'd get a big fine. That's a real serious fine there. Yeah.
I know, but it looks like I got away with it.
Oh my God! I can't believe it.
Well, because you know Coogee very well. Coogee is an area where if you park it in the wrong spot, and I parked the car because I did a session last night late, and I parked it somewhere, and I'd forgotten that I put it somewhere like this, and I'm so glad that I just realised I had this brainwave all of a sudden. It's quite funny. All right. All right. Can you answer some of the questions? I'll be just 2 seconds.
Where are the questions? Are they in the? Okay, if you keep pumping them, I can answer them.
Okay, I'll give you one.
Yeah.
Okay, let me find one which is worthy. Oh, I think this is a relevant comment, and I might just put the cam off. Have a look at that.
All right. Amresh Shirshi asks, "There's space for all content, Norman. Their show is for giggles, whereas yours goes beyond what happens on the field in a casual and open manner." Correct, Amresh. There is space for all content. Not all content is created equally. I will tell you that as a content creator myself. Different people look for different things in a show. Some people just want an update. Some people want, life lessons, how to live a better life. Some people want to be informed about global affairs through their cricket show and so on. I think as a content creator or the host, you need to find what moves you, what you're passionate about, because to do this day in day out, if you don't love it, if you're not knowledgeable in it, uh, and if you don't like doing it, it'll show and you'll get very tired very quickly. So you have to make sure you be your authentic self, because trust me, you can only fake it for so long. There are people that start channels, they think, let me be a certain way, let me talk about certain things that are going to be hot for the market, and they do a few episodes and they don't get traction, or they give up, and because you have to do it consistently. Can you do this for the next 5 years? If the answer is yes, then that's the right topic for you, that's the right show. So, in my case, I can't just do a straight show just about, let's just do statistics and a post game review or whatnot. I don't do sort of monologues and all of that. I think my style is very, very different. For me, it's the holistic, spiritual, and a global view of cricket in this case. And I do talk about issues that are almost outside of cricket, but very much related. And I think people find it, they're very informed by it. They find it interesting. Because I'm used to interviewing people and also being interviewed, I always open up discussion on sometimes very difficult topics, because people don't want to go there, but I will go there. And then you get a real discussion happening. By the way, Norman, I'm so excited that I'm on your
I was
channel,
listening to the whole
actually.
thing, by the way. I was listening to the whole thing.
Yes, but someone commented on one of our streams that, Preeti, you're becoming famous in Pakistan because you did that wonderful interview, which is getting many views, and there's been a complete cross marketing of people from this show going to watch my political interview, and people from the political interview were like, hey, I'm here from Norman's show, and they're coming now to watch the cricket commentary. So it's a beautiful marriage, I think, of the two, which is obviously working.
Well, it's the beauty of what we've done in a way, Preeti, the fact that you and I have been able to connect the way we did and the way that we've crossed over to various platforms. Now you're unfrozen though, but I'm not sure whether you're really frozen or not. She'll come back in a second.
Yeah.
That's there. So did you hear what I was saying?
I heard everything. Yeah.
Isn't that funny the way I had to go outside? My car was parked at the bus stop because overnight. I mean, there's a long story. I couldn't get parking inside the premises, so I just parked there. I didn't care, thinking I was going to go back out and move the car later, and I've completely forgotten about it. And something dawned upon me. And some mornings you get booked at 6:01 when the time clicks. Sometimes it's only what time is it now? It's 6:30. So I was lucky. There may have been one bus that turned up, but yeah. Oh gosh.
Amazing.
Gotta be a bit lucky. It's a bit lucky. Yes. Anyway, I feel relieved now. I was in major panic since then for a second. That's funny. Look, I think there's a lot to be, and I hope that you do what you're going to do and grows, because there's room for everything. I mean, and there's not. I mean, the great cricketer, and please don't take. I'm not having a go at them, but I don't want to be the great cricketer. I think the great cricketer is just not me. I mean, I'm funny. I think I'm funny. I don't need to do it in their way. I don't know. It's just not me. I'm not saying it's bad. It's good. But
Well, Shane Watson is their correspondent.
I know. I mean, and that's good for Shane Watson.
Oh.
I mean, and look, you know, Steve Waugh's an example of someone who wants to talk about his book. Fantastic. Bring him on. Monty, look, who's the biggest star, Shane Watson or Monty Panesar? I would argue Monty Panesar in the world of cricket. He's a great person. We've got Adam Holyoake. Adam's a great guy. He's just a nice person.
Yes.
And he's not after an angle at all. And that's the beauty of these people. When I have Jeff Thompson, Doug, well, they're in fact, they're actually off. Where are they? They're up north in Queensland. They're doing their thing there, and they're actually doing really well. But they're like a little pub circuit, and good on them. I'm really happy for them.
Pub circuit, oh my God, this is great. By the way, Steve Waugh, I've watched a documentary about his book. When you do have him on, please, I would love to ask some questions specifically about the book and his photography, because I've sort of really gone deep into that. I know quite a bit about the backstory too. So love to pick his brain on some of those. People don't know that he's a photographer. He's photographed. He's taken thousands of photographs.
I've shown you his book. His book's amazing. It's quite an amazing book. He's a fantastic. He has a love of India. There's no doubt about that at all.
Yes.
You know, it's a wonderful situation. So good on him. He's a great guy. I mean, as our friend Alan Mullally says, you know, he's someone who's genuine, and he is.
Yes.
And I mean, there are other people that are not, and you just have to face that fact. And look, I have to be fair to some people. They get annoyed. They get 1,000 people like me wanting to be on programs. Let's be honest. I'm sure everybody that we've mentioned have all asked him to go on their programs. Then a whole truckload of Indian channels are asking him as well. Can you imagine? I mean, Indians wanting stars in there, so it's like an honor to them, and they'll go all out. And I get that, but there's got to be a limit to that. I guess it's pretty hard to have that.
And I agree, and I don't like that where they get then they just think that anything foreign is good. Like, just get some white guy, whatever. Then you get a lot of mediocrity. You get a lot of mediocrity posing as something brilliant. And you don't want that. It kind of dilutes your show. And I've seen a lot of these Indian shows, some of the sort of international people that they have on, and the kind of conversations that they have. And I think, geez, this is not the way to host. And you're seeking validation in the wrong way, and it doesn't look good.
No. And I hope that, I mean, I guess, look, a lot of these players are after money. Okay, but some are not, but then there's a limit to how much free stuff they can do before their time is preoccupied with.
I agree.
Free time.
Time is money. It's very precious. Absolutely.
Well, if you're an international sports person of some note, you have a credibility as well. If you lessen it by being on everybody's channel, you're not going to make any money. Two, you're going to become less of a commodity because and I get that.
You can't be seen everywhere, even with actors and all that. You just can't go to, even like in my case, you'll be invited to, even if it's just as basic as going to like fabulous events, you cannot be showing up to every event. You cannot do that. It cheapens your brand. You only show up to the very, very high class ones, the really exclusive,
or some of the less ones because you like. Some of the lesser ones as well because you like the people, or you want to be there, or you have a good cause. So that's what it comes down to as well.
Yeah.
This is a fair comment. I'd say Isha is one of the best female commentators.
I agree.
Because she not only does she knows cricket, she played cricket for England.
I know,
she knows
but also she has do you know Lisa, the Australian commentator?
Lisa Saleko, I know her very, very well.
She's good too, but I think Isha's delivery accent is more sophisticated. She's
more natural.
More natural. Lisa's great. I love her commentary. Maybe her like listening to her, maybe not that pleasant. I don't know. Maybe the accent puts me off a
I mean,
little bit. But
yeah, and I'm Lisa's friend, and I know Lisa really well. I've met her. She's been on my show on my other channel, and she wants to come on this channel, but she's in India. She welcomes me. She's a great lady. She probably is trying too hard, is my only word to her. And that's not being critical of her. She feels she has a need to tell every stat, which she does a lot of homework, and that's fantastic. And she knows cricket because she's played it. She has every right to talk about it. But you don't have to sit there and go, in 1943, 3 wickets.
yeah,
That,
you're so
that's,
funny.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, I know my stats too, but I get a bit bored even when I keep talking about it, and I want to be
I
just.
think this is a problem that a lot of females will face because they think that the public has this presumption that if you're a female, you'll talk about certain things and not dry subjects like statistic and research and analysis. So we go that extra mile to do that. Little bit more research, have these fabulous sound bites ready, and we feel that we want to throw that in there, just insert it so that it comes across and people are like, oh, that was well researched, well spoken. But I think we need to not do that, because you don't want to come off as trying too hard, being like in my, I have that experience too, being a female, and you have 5 guys around you. Look, your presence is enough. The fact that you're there, that you're respected, and you speak when you do is great. Even I'm learning to not, I don't have to prove myself to anyone and
I
overdo
know.
it,
Look,
and
I'm
I'm
not
not
being
competing
really.
with anyone.
I'm really honest with you, and not about you, but in general. I know Lisa very, very well. I know you very well. I know a lot of people very well. There's a sense of having to deliver, and there's a sense of having to. I must say a lot of things. And when I get these young on extra time, we have a relationship with Bharat Army. Okay, we bring a Bharat Army member on. They're young kids a lot of the time. When they get the chance to talk, oh my God, I've got to say
I've
500
heard that
things.
it's not good.
I've got to say 500 things, and I've got to get everything out of my system. Otherwise, I haven't achieved. And I tell them now, enough is enough. You don't hog the channel, because it's actually more annoying to do
Yes.
that than anything. If you talk too much, I mean, I talk too much, but I mean, you've got to talk too much for the right reasons. If that makes any sense. And if you're doing it just to be heard, or you think, oh, I want to impress them, well, you're actually going to blow them out of the water.
No, people will get, so I think I know for myself, I balance it, and I'm like, hey, I'm not competing with anyone. I'm not proving anything I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I know who I am. I know my stuff. I know I'm good at what I do, very unique. And, actually less is more. You have more impact. Be more commanding and impactful rather than just ranting or interjecting and so on. So it's
And without bragging, I'm me. I mean, I'm unshaven today. I'm wearing shorts, whatever. Not that I should be more tidy up. Perhaps you're right, but the reality is I'm me, and I love being me, and I hope that's what pervades. And I mean, this is a great example. This fellow, Anuj Inglis, said what I would say is the biggest compliment that I would ever think we would get.
Can I ask Anuj a question? Anuj, are you liking my new hair? Because I think you made a very nice comment the other day that you love it. So is it still good?
Have a read of that, though. What do you think of that comment?
Uniqueness of this channel is it succeeds and surpasses all others in reacting and responding with comments. He's right. I think Brad Hogg is an exception. He does a good job at that. But most, they'll just analyze a game and rant and go on, and that's it. But I think with our channel, we interact, and these people have become a part of our day in some way, and we know them by name. And I've made friendships with a lot of them outside, and they contact me directly, and they send us so much love. But we interact, we take their name, we take their questions seriously, we type in responses and so on. I think very few channels do that, and it makes them feel special.
I mean, there are some channels where they have an overwhelming number of people, and it's not possible, but
Sure.
you still can do it. And Amrish wants me to read out his comment. What was your comment? Actually, which comment are we talking about, Amrish? There's so many comments. Actually, you've bettered them all by bringing on David Gravely and Mervyn Richards. Without your
Yes.
channel, I would never have heard of them. Fantastic personalities. I must say that is true. Mervyn Richards is an amazing guy. David Gravely is an amazing guy. And we hear about things that they have an insight to that other channels wouldn't necessarily use. People would always go for Viv Richards, wouldn't they? Now, Mervyn Richards has got more going on. It's not about being not about more going on, but he has a lot to talk about in terms of life experiences with cricket, with his senator role, with his own passions. He's amazing. I'm bringing in Ronan Matthews as he does. Great people. I actually find that I find that comment uplifting, and that came organically. Mm-hmm. I didn't chase anyone. It came because Simon Willis, who I know very well, told me David Gravely loved me on the show. It was a great invite. Simon Willis, he's not available much these days because he's coaching incessantly, and I understand it. He respectfully will always say not available. He's such a lovely bloke. And Chris Vernon, I mean, I'm so glad I brought him on this channel. And the irony that Chris and Simon actually knew each other was completely separate. And and Adam and they're like, well, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the people I bring on because they're genuine people. And I'm getting the sun in my eyes. It's going to be a good day today.
Yeah, amazing people. And I think the important thing is also that there's a dynamic. We all have an interesting dynamic amongst us. And that's good, that people can feel. I know that in some episodes, I never used to read the comments. And then now when I rewatch videos, I do. And when we were covering the test series between India and England, oh my God, there were so many episodes with so many views, and all in the comments I could see was Pretty and Chris fight, and come on Pretty, give it to him, and this, oh my God, it was so hard. They were off the roof because of that. They wanted to see me really give it to him, and I did, and they loved it because obviously they shared my perspective on the game, right? So I didn't know that. I was like, oh my God, what have I, I was annoyed actually after some of those episodes. And then when I read the comments, I thought, oh, wow, these people really love this stuff.
But see, the viewership was high then, it's lower now. But it's not about us being less popular. It's more to do with the content about IPL. Some people just are not into IPL. Some people are. IPL has also got some amazing armory, like a Mumbai Indians or a Cotton Knights. They have huge social media presence, and that's occupying a lot of time. I give that. I'm happy with that. I'm probably realizing that the people are there. Just we're going to have the right content, and that'll happen. But I'm sure that we're fine. I mean, today's been particularly good, and I don't know why, because we haven't done anything differently necessarily at all.
There's also the during the Test, ODI, and T20 series, there were some people doing, covering it and the main news channels and so on. But I think with the IPL, haven't you seen? There's like hundreds and hundreds of little channels and little shows doing it. Everybody wants to do IPL coverage. And I just think there's too much oversaturation of IPL content, which is why some big channels, obviously, they're getting so many views, but I think the rest it's just too much content out there, too much oversaturation. And you expect that with IPL. But once it's finished, when we do the World Cup coverage or we do the India-England series, again, it'll go down. And then there'll be people like us doing in-depth analysis, I think, which will be very attractive and appealing.
Yeah, I'm not worried at all. And the Bastards and I both not worried. I'm proud. I mean, I'm on his channel interviewing all these senior journalists. It's an amazing event. Like there's a guy called VJ who's lauded over incredible comments. So what here's about your hair?
Okay, Anuj, thank you. Yes, of course. This hairstyle of yours looks more appealing, seductive, and sweet, while the earlier one looked more bold, aggressive, and dominant. All right. Well, I'm changing my whole vibe, on the show. When I first came in, like you said, I want to, I want to show everyone that I'm professional and confident and strong, and I can hold my own with 5 other guys, and I did. But now I'm thinking, hey, hang on, there's another side to me, and I'm very comfortable in my skin. I know who I am. I'm not competing or seeking validation from anyone. So be that person, because I think people, it's warm, and I can tell you that I think audience usually likes that because they feel at ease and they feel like they know me, and I'm more accessible and personable to them.
It sounds like you're going for a job interview. What are you doing?
No, I'm not. I'm just sharing.
This light is ridiculous. Why is there so much light coming in? I can't believe it. It's very unusual. It's so unusual because it's sun's in a position where it's setting. It's just an April sun, they call it. Okay. Ashok, this is the comment that I like.
Oh, I love it, Ashok. By the way, I am. This is the Preeti experience, and this is the real Preeti anyway, you know. Yeah, I've always been myself when I've done my media things. I never shy away. I'm witty and sassy and sort of do it in my own style.
Now, this is an interesting comment. The content is improving. I'm not sure we've done anything different today.
No, I think we're talking about it's, you know, I can see there's an extension of the we've widened, I think, about what we speak about, and we're bringing in, you know, you're speaking about no balls and fixing and all these things. These are outside of the realm of the game itself, in the sense, like, it wasn't like to do with today's game, you know. It's a and I think people find that very appealing.
And we've talked about today's game quite a bit, actually.
Yes.
And the reality is that, you know, it is. I'm getting comments from people always saying, oh, it's too early to talk about it. Well, it's never too early to talk about it. It's never too early to have predictions. To me, predictions are important. You don't have predictions or any. People want to surmise where teams are at. They want to know if a team is doing well or not doing well. You can't just, you know.
Just hang on a minute. I'm going to get my charger because it's always dying on me.
There we go. It's a better light, guys. It's been a horrific light where we were before. I just believe that we need to talk a bit about more. Last time we was discussing players. Last time we talked about players' dressing rooms. Well, that's true. Players' dressing rooms, and I'll continue to say this, in terms of what we see on social media from the various platforms, whether it's Mumbai Indians or Coconut or whomever, is glossy, it's positive, it's upbeat, it's entertaining. Insights, they're all brilliant. You need to see all of them. But what they're not showing is, as I say to you, the teledrama in the dugouts and what's happening, the negative things which are going, which there is plenty. There's a lot more going on than we ever see. And I guess we don't have to see it all, but I think we need to be aware that, you know, there's a comment like this. There's something suspicious in the IPL.
I don't.
Look, there are too many reports, and I'm not talking about the IPL, I'm talking generally. Okay, I don't have any reason to pick IPL out, but there's plenty of commentary that some pundits talk about up to 70% of games being rigged. Now, it's a disturbing factor. I don't think it's that prevalent, but we've seen plenty of people that have been involved. And we had the recent case of Heath Streak from Zimbabwe, who was caught. He's out for 8 years. There's also the case of Hansi Cronje. Even the Shane Warnes and Mark Waugh had things commented to them.
Wow.
Plenty of Pakistani players, an absolute truckload of Sri Lankan people from administration down. The entire place has been under scrutiny several times. I mean, Mohan De Silva, who's one of the administrators there, was an incredibly honest, decent man, and I could walk in his room and tell him anything. He is someone who is very careful with his words, but he's surrounded by a lot of very, very corrupt situations and people, and they're so heightened. And then they've got people who are so-called, you know, observers or people who are meant to be checking for this. I don't actually trust them.
I think they're totally involved. They know exactly what's going on, but they choose to keep mum about it. It's a
there's one guy I met in Sri Lanka who was suspicious of me because I went somewhere where he thought I was supposed to and made a big deal about it. I said, mate, I'm the last person you should be worrying about. What planet are you on to think that I'm even slightly involved? What bloody proof have you got? You've got nothing. If you don't know who I am, then don't make comments. So they go, why is he talking to all these cricketers? Because they know me. It's like I'm not doing anything. It was disgusting. And then I was, fingered for something which was complete garbage. And I thought, you've got this stuff going from A to Z in your country, and we all know it. Everyone, the entire Sri Lankan everything was audited. The whole lot. Everybody was put under suspicion. Who does that? Unless there's some validity there. That is horrific. You've got Tom Moody sitting in as an observer on selections. He's not even a part of the selection panel. Why? Because they want someone independent who can be trusted. And it's just ridiculousness of the whole thing. And there's a lot of issues there that money that went from the Sri Lankan whatever their broadcasting rights have gone from straight from them to the pockets of officials.
Wow.
And players saw very little money. The top guys get paid because they're in on this whole thing and they get paid. You get through the bottom, you get them through the first two layers, you reach people who can't even live. And the girls' cricket they get supported by the Army, Navy, military with a payment, which is great. But then they are locked into being with that particular organisation from dusk to dawn, and they can't move, they can't live.
Wow.
They play cricket, and they're restricted movements, so they're basically controlled, and that's because they're given a bit of token money. The actual board gives them very little. It's getting better, but it's nowhere near good enough. They can't live on it, and they're fearful they're going to be not selected, so they live in fear. I mean, what is that? It's just complete shambles.
You can't do that. And also with Dubai, I grew up there.
I'm not knocking Sri Lanka. I'm not saying it's a bad place. I was married to a Sri Lankan. I love the country. I love the people. I love a lot of the people there. I've got time for them. But these things happen. It happens probably in Pakistan, Bangladesh. I could go on for 30 countries.
Yeah, Pakistan has always been the hub of this sort of stuff. And anytime it's held in Dubai, the problem is that that network is too strong. And that there's dodgy stuff happening. So that IPL that was played in Dubai, it's not a good idea. You shouldn't be playing it there. There's way too many rogue elements involved.
There's one fan group that I'm not going to go into talking about, which very bullying. They're not Bharat Army. Bharat Army is amazing. They're amazing. They're a decent group. But there's one that I know that could be best left unsaid. They just, it's all manipulative. They bring in the UAE or something. I wouldn't trust anyone there when the way they approach people like me and Debashis, they're disgusting, and they deserve to be not in existence. But you know what? Those things get found out. They get the people who are the bad people. They get found out eventually. Karma hits them. Whether it be a fan group or whether it be an individual high up in a cricket board. There's one more I'd love to talk about, but I won't, about a sexual harassment charge that he was sacked from that. I don't need to talk about that person, but that person was sacked because of that. Karma gets you back. If you do the wrong thing, you get found out.
Yeah, that's the beauty of karma, of course. Hey, whether you believe in it or not, it takes place.
It's there.
How interesting. A friend of mine wrote a book on this dirty side, and his lead character is called Preeti. I think he was trying to refer to Preeti Zinta, and it was about the IPL and all the dodgy dealings, and it's set in Dubai. Oh my God, what an interesting book. I'm yet to read it, but it's about how IPL was rigged and set up and all of that. And he has a lot of inside information. He's an investigative journalist. So he's like, trust me, if you knew what really went down, you'd be disgusted. So live in your dream. You love all these players. Don't find out the truth. You will be shocked. And I don't think you want a billion people finding out what's going on. So we got to be, I think that's why people rather keep numb. I think the fallout of even exposing something like this is too great. You don't want to even hurt that many people.
If you haven't got the facts as well, you're in deep trouble. If you're going off secondhand information. But look, whenever there's power, there's corruption.
Yes.
Whenever there's that, whether it's military, whether it's art, whether it's political, whether it's a cricket club, I don't know how many cricket clubs I've heard of in my life that have had a secretary or chairman that runs the books and has taken the money.
Oh no, it's so awful.
Even though they're probably small amounts of money, they've taken the money and they've been in charge of the club for five years and embezzled. Maybe not. It's not huge money, but it's huge money to the club. So
Yeah.
$10,000, and nobody knew about it because they had this power. They were in charge. They make the decisions. They could say, "Oh, I wouldn't mind maybe whatever the case is." It's quite. I'm afraid it happens at all levels. So at a level like a BCCI or an ICC or a Australian Cricket Board, all those corruption hits them in the face every day. Some handle it better than others, but there's always someone trying to pull something over someone's eyes, and I mean that's just fact, I'm afraid. And I'm not speaking with fact. I'm talking generally. I'm talking generally. So Ashok Dupsy, unfortunately, he didn't get to see the Punjab game, and it looks like they played crap again. Yeah, there's something not right there. 120 it's a low scoring ground or whatever, but no, they just played badly. And so Sunrise Hyderabad won it easily. Is that truly their form? We don't know. I still think you're right. The top four, bottom four are starting to become
They're
obvious
starting
now.
to show themselves. There's a separation, and I think that we know in my eyes, I know who the four are. By the way, this net run rate of CSK is going to end up helping them big time if they
For
continue
sure.
to win, because it does affect your placings, and there's a big difference if you end up 2, 3, 4, or 1 because of who you're going to end up playing and so on. So if they keep at it, their net run rate is going to be actually very, very helpful for them. It'll help them get the right place that they want.
Well, SRH as well. They actually have gone from absolute last with no wins to at the moment 5th, which is and that's because of net run rate. So I mean, look, it is early days, but I think Sunrise Hyderabad and KKR are going to be in the 5th, 6th positions.
Yes.
But they may push for top 4. They may, but the other 4 definitely are going to be up there, and the bottom 2 are going to be definitely down there. So
I think if CSK had lost this, it would have been tricky for them. But now they have this win over KKR, which is very important because KKR is that other potential team that can take their place. But they just beat them. They really, it was a great win for them. And it was a good win for them, I think. It really helps them in their standings. And now they're sitting very pretty. Keep at it, and we'll see the future games how they do.
this is interesting. This fellow here, he just Bussey's talking about Sokoman Hayder. I actually know Sokoman Hayder. He's a lovely bloke. He's a very decent man. He played cricket for his country. Didn't play very long. His career now is not the same. But he was a very genuine guy. I'll be honest. It's very interesting that comment come up.
Wow.
You met a lot of genuine people like Wayne Holdsworth. He played for Australia. He's a lovely guy. Brad Hogg, as you know. I like Greg Matthews. He's a character, but he has these moments. But Greg Matthews, even Alan Mullally, I mean, he's well liked by a lot of the cricketers. I didn't realize.
Oh, people love him. He has a lot of fans. I need to look him up bowling. Was he like a phenomenal fast bowler? He looks like he was really dynamic.
And in his time, he was up there. He was up there. He was a left-arm bowler. He was well respected, and he took a lot of wickets. Didn't have a long career, but he played well for what he did do. Absolutely.
Wow, absolutely. Interesting.
Yeah. But he's had his issues in his life. He's had some things which have gone wrong. But I guess
does he live in Australia or London or the UK?
No, he lives in Western Australia.
Oh, I thought so. I'm like, very interesting.
Yeah, and he's a nice man for sure. I mean, look at me. I'm out there trying to move my car from a bus stop. Luckily, I didn't get booked. But see, that's the problem. There's no parking around here. And there is, where I'm staying right now, there's limited parking. In my place, there's parking. It was too far away. So, all these issues. It's Coogee. Coogee's got parking problems.
So do you think Dave Warner and Steve Smith are, when you observe them, are you seeing passion or are you seeing money? or both?
I'm seeing money.
Oh,
I mean, David Warner. Look, I'm not going to bag him, but look,
yeah.
he
He's
tries
trying.
very.
He's trying. He's making an effort.
But after all, IPL is a business.
Yes,
And
yes.
if it means he has to be on social platform, on TikTok and looking silly and doing whatever he does, and singing and everything, he's a try-hard a bit on that, but he probably deserves it. And then you've got someone like Brett Lee, doesn't have to try. He's just well
Yes.
liked.
It's
Sam
natural.
Curran, he's just well liked because he's a nice bloke. I mean, he would still be thinking money, of course. Let's not. These cricketers are worth anywhere from, I know I haven't got exact figures, but
10 to
10 to
yeah.
50 million easily.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
big
Pat Cummins
ones.
bought a $9.5 million house. Warner's house is in the tens of millions. So is Smith's. They've all been very good because what they've done with their money, they've bought property.
Yeah.
They've been fairly clever that way. Shane Watson's quite well off. Michael Clark's worth 40 or 50 million. They're all in the 40, 50 million range or thereabouts. Some are more, but not many are more. But I think, yeah, they're 40 or 50 million. Then you've got someone like Jeff Thompson who hasn't got anything of his name and has to struggle each week. And I mean that generally. I'm not talking about Jeff Thompson. I'm talking about just generally that age group. I shouldn't say Jeff Thompson. I should say that age group. Some have bought places when they were younger and done the right thing, but some haven't, and some are struggling. And you know, and they people think, oh, they must be getting paid millions to be on all these commentary shows. A lot of the time, they get paid nothing.
That's right. A lot of times, depending if you are like an old, I guess a player from another time, they're happy just to be asked and invited. So look, supply and demand. I mean, when you have the new young players out there that are when you have the Shane Watsons being interviewed, why would you have a Jeff Thompson? You know, that's the way that the media companies think.
I often get people coming up to me and saying, Norman, can you get someone more current? And I said, why do you want someone more current? This person has the most incredible stories to tell, has represented his country as probably a better player than these current players. Why do you need? And I eventually convinced them to take them because they should be equally as, it's quite sad actually, because you're right. If they're not current, and of course, current players can't do it. They're on obligations.
They're playing. Hello, they're on the pitch. That's why they can't be on your damn show.
which is actually interesting because that makes their monetary worth go through the roof, and they exploit that too. And look, do I blame them for exploiting it? Probably not. I mean, they've got a right to earn money. Why did Punjab appoint Kumble? Because
well, he's a legend of the game. I mean, I don't.
Why wouldn't you? Why are you saying that, Ashok? I don't see what the problem is. He's if he's well respected, then great. We should be using him. I mean,
I must say Sangakkara is brilliant, but I just don't think RR is. I just don't know what he's doing with them.
Yeah, well, they haven't got a true coach, and I actually don't think Sangakkara is, if I'm being honest with you, is a good coach.
He's not. He's a great captain and a great player, but he's not the coach material.
Whereas Mahela Jayawardene seems to be a better coach. I mean, Murali's there. He's not a good coach.
No, he's not. He's a great spin teacher, spin doctor.
Well, but I mean, no one can be Murali. No one can bowl like him because of his very hand positioning and his arm.
Do you agree that Murali is the best spinner in history?
Statistically, obviously, yes.
Took the most wickets, yeah. But between Shane
Warne
and Murali, you would say Murali is a superior spinner.
No. He's got superior statistics, and in certain conditions was the better bowler. But Shane Warne had probably more true ability and true talent, and thought the game better, and even could captain. Shane Warne would probably be ranked higher in terms of his ability, even though his stats. Well, he wasn't. He's only second to Murali anyway. But
just talking about the actual action of the delivery itself, Murali had a very complex, nuanced, interesting action, right?
His arm is actually somewhat bent naturally. There's physical issues going on there, but whereas Warne has just got ability. He knows how to master a moment, anywhere in the world. So that's what I would argue. So what is saying? Norman, please look at Sunny Dutta's post.
Okay, bring it up.
We did do it. We did do it.
Oh.
We've done it before. We've already done. Yeah, that's the way. That's the way to put it. They're both great bowlers, but Warner has a better cricketing brain. I would agree with that. Yeah, Murali's English is not great either, and not that that's a problem, but I don't think he's the right. He's not bad. He's got he needs to be listened to for sure. But Warren's better. If you look at any of the spin bowls, they go to Warren first. Yeah. Okay. All right. We've still got lots of viewers. We've gone 2 hours 20 minutes. Even with the interruption, we're going 2 hours 20 minutes. So I think we need to be wary of that. So I think we might call it time, guys. I might just have a little check. Yeah, I think I've got to be careful with a few things because of my moving around the place here. Let me have a look here. That sun's gone away, which is good. Well, not really gone away. It's got worse. Just want to check my computer as to what. Yeah, it's way too late. All right, guys. We might actually say goodbye. We're going to try and bring a different angle here. We can't really set the window. There's kookaburras out this window. There's kookaburras out that window. There's a truckload of kookaburras. All right, guys. This is Norman Koshlak saying goodbye from Eyes on Cricket with Norman Koshlak. Pretty Gopal has been fantastic. She has incredible stability. She lasts through all sorts of discussion.
Yeah.
There's a couple of books which I want to bring up. There's a book here by Catherine McGregor called An Indian Summer. She wrote a great book.
Wow, I got to read that.
It's a really, really good book. Then this is one of my favorite books, and I'll have to show you this. It's called The Private Don. It's an amazing book, written by Catherine Wallace. Amazing book. Really, really, really good. And if you want to ever talk about the best commentator ever, I mean, other than Richie Benaud, Jimmy Maxwell, who I've interviewed. He's brilliant. You've heard of Jimmy Maxwell, haven't you?
Yes.
And I've interviewed him, and he's a great guy. He's a lovely, lovely person. So, getting rid of that sun. All right, I've got to go. All right. All the best, guys. We'll say goodbye.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and enjoy the games, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, bye.